like when I look at music, or if I look at music that people create, oftentimes the music is a reflection of their circumstances. And you can see, especially as America and the black communities became more conscientious maybe of the ghettos that they'd been kind of pushed into, or the...
Welcome back. I'm Shaq, and we got ourselves another video. Candance Owens and Destiny has a conversation about black culture. Short way of saying the hip hop or rap. This is going to be a very interesting conversation. I can only imagine where this is going to go. And I have already made assumptions, which I'm happily able to backtrack because I've been wrong before. But hold up, if you just clicked in this video, I need you to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And in the comment section, give me a thumbs up or a heart, just to let me know that it's real. But let's waste no more time. Let's roll the clip. Oh, you know what that was? Oh, that doo-doo, baby.
And yeah, that Diddy's basically just at the top of a gang, and the person that's above him is Lucian Grange, which is just wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? You made a mention that this might be an indicator to things that have happened with black culture. What do you mean by that, I guess?
So there has been just a very obvious corrosion in black culture. Like the music that I grew up in, I was listening to The Temptations, Lauryn Hill, like it was all about like family, love. It was real talent. And then something just really shifted and it all became about derogatory, debased, gangster rap. And it's the change that I've noted in a lot of my commentary. And, you know, I think other people have, like I asked the question, there's a really, in my view, disgusting artist, just in terms of the stuff that she publishes and the photos that she publishes, named Sexy Red, who they're now making a thing, right? Who makes the decision to sign a Sexy Red? You're telling me
We all know it's Sexy Red.
Boo, you whore.
It's the most disgusting. Oh, and what she was about to say about who signed her, I thought that. Haven't we all thought that? I still remember there was a time when there was a lot of black women saying, I can't listen to Sexy Red. She's too much of a hoe. Like they were saying that, but it looked like everybody just swept that under the rug. Just swept it.
You have all the money and all the talent at your fingertips, and you sign a woman who at her baby shower, 9 months pregnant, however pregnant she was twerking and had her butt cheeks in, like somebody's face was inside of her butt cheeks. That to me is very intentional, because you're not signing her based on talent. You're not signing her based on following. You're signing her because it's filth, and you're perpetuating this filth into my community. So it's just something that I've noticed, something that I talk about often, that we're intentionally being sold crack, it feels like, you know.
So
okay, one thing I have to say is that I agree with her a lot about this, but one thing we gonna have to acknowledge is that black people are choosing to listen to that.
I can't get jiggy with this shit.
So like they're not signing her based off of talent. If you want to make that argument, you can say that about most female rappers right now. Nicki Minaj was talented before. Now she's just Barbie. Now she's not. Now she just makes sounds and just keep calling herself a Barbie. If there's people higher up, they don't gotta do that much work. Because black men, we choose gangster rap or shoot 'em up bang bang songs. And the women choose dingus.
Penis!
They choose that music. I will agree that it looks like there's an agenda, but they ain't gotta do that much.
I'm trying to think of which direction I want to go.
Any direction you want. I'm an open book.
Yeah, you're fine. There are like two kind of different ways of viewing this. And I feel like you fall more to one side and then I'll go my side, and then we can kind of see if we can iron out or figure where we are at, I guess, in the middle here. I feel like when you look at the evolution of, when we say like degenerate black culture or degenerate black music, I think we're generally talking about like the beginning of hip hop and rap, and then kind of the evolution of that going forward, coming away from like the R&B singers and everybody like in the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, right?
Yeah. But hip hop isn't always filth. But yeah, I get your point.
But that seems like
we're
the general.
generalizing. Yeah.
It feels like when I look at music, or if I look at music that people create, oftentimes the music is a reflection of their circumstances. And you can see, especially as America and the black communities became more conscientious maybe of the ghettos that they'd been kind of pushed into, or the policing situations that they'd had to be a part of, or drugs destroying their communities, et cetera, et cetera.
Did you just say the ghetto and police shootings is black culture? I'm not gonna lie, y'all, that sounds racist, what I just heard. I could be wrong, but it sound like that's what he just said.
And then those people turning to crime, that you also see the music and the art kind of reflect those conditions. And then those...
No. Black people was in the ghettos before rap. You have to acknowledge that we had Cross 110th Street by Bobby Womack. We had songs about the ghetto, and they didn't do this, oh, let's support degeneracy rap and everything like this. So the ghetto thing been happening. They didn't do what was happening. So I don't know what you're talking about. We acknowledged that a long time ago.
He ain't lying.
Those pieces of art that get created, especially the music, end up being like worldwide popular. Like the most popular genre of music in the world is like hip hop and rap. So when I look at people pushing certain stuff today, I'm like, okay, well, we got two really big, in my opinion, I went to school for music. I don't know if you talk about the saxophone or whatever. So we had two really big contributions to the world of music from America. One was jazz, that came basically from the black community. And then the second was like rap and hip hop. These forms of music become popular. People see that it's popular. They want to get involved. Obviously, the money men, the people on top, they want to kind of continue to push this because it's popular, and everybody around the world consumes it. I feel like there are a lot of market forces at work that kind of perpetuate this and keep this happening. And that feels pretty satisfying to me to explain what's going on. So when we ask, like, why is it a woman twerking with somebody's face in her butt cheeks? Because, well, for whatever reason, that's like what the worldwide culture seems to want to see right now.
Liar.
And then on the other side, it feels like from people, I don't want to just say conservatives, but I would say broadly speaking, I guess I'll say on your side in general, it feels like there's this idea that there's this much more intentional or like malevolent force working behind the scenes.
Yes, there is. And so I'm going to push back on what you're suggesting here. You're suggesting that this reflects the community, and they're sharing their stories in a way that makes sense. That's completely not true. Okay, WAP does not reflect the circumstances that Black people are living in. You know, singing about your vagina and how hard it's getting pounded is not the circumstance of living in the hood. I come from nothing. It's not that did not make me feel close.
She's somewhat right. Okay, let me explain. Back before rap music, Black people was already up mentally. Okay, what she's not acknowledging is that before this WAP stuff, Young Dro and them, My Girl Got a Girlfriend, that was one. Before them, Uncle Luke, pop that, pop that, pop that, and those women was dancing to it. Before all this stuff happened, we were doing this shit. The only thing that she has to actually help her in this discussion right now is the fact that they are paying people to do this.
How much are you worth? I have no idea. How much do you want?
Us as Black people, a lot of us, we do listen to it, and then we start to try to portray it. But like, yeah, man, he is somewhat right about like Black people was doing this stuff. They were actually doing these things. So maybe she wasn't raised in like a real Black neighborhood, like around niggas. I was, so
closer to the circumstances that I grew up in. And unfortunately, that's actually what people are telling Black Americans. Like, actually, it's working the other way. You're putting something, your eyes and your ears are the windows to the soul. And you're basically, when you celebrate someone, and I'm using Cardi B here as an example because I think people are probably more familiar with her than they are with Sexy Red. When you put someone like that on the Grammys stage, which is, again, a decision being made. When I was growing up, the best, most talented people were on the Grammy stage. It was something you could watch with your family. And we still had poor people. You still had poor people. You still had people that were living in the hood. Okay, we didn't need somebody talking about their vagina in order to feel seen. So what you're doing is you're setting the stage for younger girls who aspire to celebrities to say, okay, well, if I mimic that behavior, I too can become famous. What you're actually doing is you're setting the idols that people are going to look up to, and people are going to think this is what I should aspire to. So it's actually working in the exact opposite way.
Can I ask a question? In that like evolution of things, so if we look at like WAP,
she was right about all that. She was right about that, like, it's crazy. She was actually right about all that, but it still didn't change the fact that this was actually still happening. It was happening, but it did give the youth reasons to do it more, if you understand what I'm saying.
I believe him, yo. I don't know why, but I do.
WAP in particular. Hasn't it generally been the case that music is always kind of pushing these sexual boundaries. So it might have been Elvis grabbing his crotch and dancing. It might have been Michael Jackson's dancing is incredibly suggestive, if you've seen that. It might have been in Woodstock, all the loser hippies talking about love, sex, and rock and roll and drugs. Wouldn't like WAP just be kind of like the next evolution in a long chain of...
pushing boundaries is not degeneracy, okay? And so here's what I'll say to you. Why don't you pull up the lyrics to WAP and read them right now?
Thank you.
Well, I don't... Why would I need to do that?
Cool, it's just Woodstock. We're just pushing pushing the boundaries a little bit. You probably have never even read the lyrics to WAP.
I think I did, because I think Ben Shapiro had a huge thing about it.
He couldn't have said, you may have seen him reading.
No, don't smile about it. Go read it. What is this? That's crazy that you said that. Pushing the boundaries, and you don't even know the lyrics. You don't know the lyrics to WAP.
The sanitized version of WAP, not the one that is not sanitized. Like the sanitized one, which is still bad, that she can perform at the Grammys, is what he read. You should read the lyrics to WAP before you make commentary that it's a reflection of what Black Americans are living through, or it's just somebody that's pushing a boundary. It's not that.
How do you explain the fact that like WAP was like a #1?
No, I'm not gonna let you do that. Guess what? Don't worry, Destiny. I'll do you a favor. I'll read it for you. And here we go. Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy. Make that pull-out game weak. Yeah. You fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this wet ass pussy. Beat it up, nigga. Catch a charge. Extra large. Extra hard. Hop on top. I want a ride. I do kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth. Pause. Look at my eyes. Pause. This pussy is wet. Pause. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage. Pause. Oh yeah. That's a reflection. Crazy how you just chose not to read the lyrics. You was gonna just keep going, just chose not to read. Nobody should listen to him. After that, you are discredited in this whole conversation by not even engaging in what she said. Crazy.
Like worldwide hit then.
Because what I said to you is that they are artificially creating artists at this point. There's no question. And by the way, the Diddy docs, which I found to be a very compelling point, was that Diddy said to the guy, allegedly, who was the producer, that if he was willing to engage in homosexual behavior with him, that he would get him Producer of the Year Grammy. Okay, so what does that tell you? It means that the entire system is artificial. And by the way, this is something that Kanye said 10 years ago, or however long ago it was, when he took the trophy from Taylor Swift and said, like, this is all fake. This is not even based on merit anymore. And that is my point. The industry is not based on merit. It's not based on capitalism. It is based on selling ideas. So it is, who do we want to artificially make the person that every Black girl will look up to, or who they will aspire to? And
so I can definitely understand that, like, maybe award shows can be rigged, or people can think different things about, you know, who's being awarded based on merits for the Grammys or something like that. But like WAP was genuinely, do you think it wasn't genuinely a popular song, or do you think that music execs have the ability to manufacture that desire publicly?
The latter. So if you start playing something tons of times on the airways, and the latter, you can definitely make something popular. There are songs that I don't even like, that I've heard so much that I know every single.
You don't have to explain it, Candace. You're being intellectually dishonest right now. First off, Destiny, if you know so much about music, then you have to know about the so-called idea called earworm, where the music gets stuck in your head unwanted. And all they have to do is keep playing it on replay. It soon will get stuck in your head. And guess what? If music gets stuck in your head, most people, they soon are gonna start repeating it. When they start repeating it, subconsciously you're gonna start enjoying it, which is crazy, because even the song WAP gets stuck in my head, and I can do this. There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house. And it's called the earworm, or what someone like to call achy breaky. You achy breaky somebody, which is all I gotta do is just keep playing this song repeatedly, and sooner or later you're gonna enjoy it. Why else would people listen to Blueface? Fuck if you like it, but you're gonna respect this crippin'. Why would you enjoy that song? It just got played so much and he couldn't stay on beat. So he was like, this is stuck in my head. He's such a bad rapper. It's stuck in my head.
Single lyric to, and I'm like, I don't even know how I know every single lyric to the song, but it's received this many plays. You put it everywhere. You award the person, you invite them to bizarre circumstance. Like, there's absolutely no reason that Cardi B is invited to sit down and ask questions to Joe Biden.
So
in no scenario, unless you are really making an effort to legitimize this person and to make this person aspirational. Again, this is not an insult to Cardi. I actually think that personality-wise, she's got a ton of talent and she's interesting, and I've said great things about her on Love and Hip Hop, and there are elements of her that make her a star. But what I am saying is that a lot of that is manufactured, and I just don't see how anybody, when looking.
Don't you think it's entirely possible or easily possible? So like, I feel like there's like so many things wrong with this. So one is, why wouldn't competing record labels start pushing talent that's actually popular that people want to hear? I think that would be a big question. The second thing would be, how can we explain the top-down domination of this type of media popularity through all of our reality TV shows, all of our TikTok stuff, all of our YouTube videos, and the music industry? And then how can you explain that all happening worldwide?
Sure.
Like, it feels
I can answer that. NWA, they have already shown, it has now been proven that if you promote degeneracy to black guys, we will start listening to the music. Go down the list. NWA, we had Ice Cube. And we got Now I Gotta Wet Ya. You know, Predator album. You know, Trick Daddy, Uncle Luke and all of them. You know, all these people, they now know we make music. So guess what happens when you see that this works on them? Let's try this on women. And guess what happened? Trina, women like Trina. Lil' Kim, women like Lil' Kim. Let's just keep doing it. And guess who spends more money, men or women? Makes perfect sense why they would push so hard for this. Ice Spice isn't even good. You're not even a fart, and that's a thing? Maybe he's not being intellectually dishonest. Maybe you just don't know what you're talking about.
Feels like that to try to explain this through people that are exercising control on these platforms would require more control than anybody has ever been able to exercise on any platform ever, and they're doing it like on a multi-country, multi-stage level. It's just
called, it's very easy actually. It's a very basic concept pertaining to governments. They need propaganda. Hollywood is propaganda. You should, for those of you that are watching this live, go listen to the conversation that Joe Rogan had with Cat Williams, where he talked about all of this. And he said, I know you think that you're being entertained. And this is somebody that comes from inside of the industry. And he starts talking about the Diddy stuff, the idea that in order to climb higher, you kind of have to engage in nefarious behavior, and how he was collecting all of this information and he was speaking out about what was happening inside of the industry. And he said it is twofold. You might be being entertained, but they are making decisions about what will entertain you. And a great circumstance in which he presented that as evidence of that is transgenderism. And he asked hold on.
Okay.
He asked a question which should be answered. He said to Joe Rogan, and he laughed about it. He was like, a guy wears a dress on the red carpet, okay? And then the media tells you how great he wore the dress. And he's like, he said, tell me one situation where he didn't wear the dress wonderfully, when he didn't wear the dress in a way that was amazing. It's because they have all agreed that this is the narrative. And then he talked about the fact that the record execs also own the publications that are saying that something is amazing or something is not amazing. And that is just plain old-fashioned propaganda. So you don't necessarily need to detach what we're talking about from your concept of what governments are interested in. It's always propaganda.
So I understand Cat Williams has said this. I also understand that Cat Williams was at one point in his life addicted to crack, and I think he's famous for losing a fight to a high school kid. I think this like benched his career for a while.
I can insult him, but it doesn't.
I'm not insulting.
What did that have to do with anything? That wasn't the shittiest debate tactic ever. What kind of extreme ad hominem was that? You just dismissed everything he said because he got beat up by a kid? Because he's done drugs? Disney, don't you do drugs? How in the world? Based off of that, then no one should ever listen to you when it comes to women because you had a divorce. Based off of that, no man should listen to you if he's straight. How could you say that and it makes sense in your head? I knew there was a reason why I didn't like his goatee. I knew there was a reason. That's why I don't like his goatee or his face. His head, his face, and his hair that he'd never take care of.
And your hair is uneven. You look dusty.
I knew there was a reason why. I'm so triggered that I'm going to just press play because what he did was for nothing.
I'm just saying
He
that
says
I
2
don't
plus
know-
2 equals 4, 2 plus
hold
2
on.
equals 4.
I'm not insulting him. I'm just saying that to like
Yes, you
lean into
did.
his testimony, who also we would both acknowledge has a lot to gain by giving like incredulous testimony like this, like saying like, oh my God, these crazy things are happening, right? I don't know if I would just say, well, right, he does. You're the fact that you're talking about him and you're citing him and you know it, right? If anybody else was saying a similar thing, we'd say, well, okay, they're saying this because they have something to gain.
Oh yeah, and I also want to say this. Disney, you do know, looking at your arms and your size, a child could beat you up as well, right? I just want you to know that.
Goddamn right.
For it, right? He knows that this is going to be a hot take, and he knows that it's going to go viral if he says it, and he knows he's going to get a lot of eyes on him for it. So I think it's good to call that into question. I think the issue that I have when it comes to the accusation that everything is some top-down level propaganda is I feel like the conversation shifts away from the important stuff, which is why are people attracted to this type of stuff? Why do people vibe with it so much? Why are we replacing traditional, better forms of media or more thought-provoking, I don't know what you would call it, forms of media with this type of stuff? Instead of having conversations about the culture and the society, it's all fixated on some weird top-down plot to like control media consumption.
I think you just like to be contrarian because I don't understand the point that you're making here. Like, of course.
Wait, hold on, wait. Let me restate that. I'm sorry. The point I'm making is very clear. If I was going to, I've got a almost 13-year-old son in a few days. Okay, if I was to see that he's consuming media, my go-to would be like, hey, Nathan, why are you watching this? This is crazy. We need to look at something else. I need to, like, who are your friends? What are you looking at online? Like, we need to change your media consumption habits because this isn't working. I would never think like, I think that the school is involved in disseminating media towards him and there's no way that we can change this. Because I feel like on your side of the story, people are basically like, we're hopeless. There's nothing we can do.
No, it's not hopeless, but if you want to be able to do something about something, you need to be able to acknowledge the something, right?
That sound crazy what you just said. You had like two things couldn't be right. He's doing this. Change that. This is happening. Okay, if this is happening, this is happening. If I do this over here, that cuts off both of these things over here. Are you drunk? I feel like you turned your camera on and you've been drinking. I'm gonna just go with that. I feel better now if I believe you're drunk. Big screen. Yeah, I didn't know how long that was gonna keep going, but I do know that boy, that big-headed little arm boy got his behind whooped in that discussion. Say you let that lady come in your house and put her feet on your couch and then also smack you in the back of the head in an argument. His way of trying to regain the power of the argument was by insulting Cat Williams. That's what we do? Instead of you just engaging with the discussion, ad hominem.
You can say that again.
Then he get beat up by a kid. Y'all already know I already said everything about him, but I'll say some more. Then he get beat up by a kid. Aren't you skinny with people nipples?
Yes.
Like, you have saggy nipples and you're skinny. Does that mean we shouldn't listen to you now? Yeah, like, you see how it just becomes rude? You don't take care of your hair, so I don't think we should actually talk to you ever about hygiene.
You are crazy ugly!
But yeah, you see how that is not true? Because based off of that, we would have never listened to Einstein. Einstein looked like a homeless man with Chuck Taylors on.
That's a lie.
Should nobody believe that man know how to make a bomb? Should nobody? But you know, you think what you said was smart. I think what you said made you look more drunk than smart. You know, I'm just being honest. She destroyed that man. She took him outside, took his shirt off of him, but kept it on his arm and uppercut him and beat him to submission. And then all he could do was insult Cat Williams. That's all he could do. I ain't gonna lie to you, Destiny. I'm starting to realize you should stay out of black discussions because you don't study them and you don't know what you're talking about half the times. Most of the times. Quite sad. I hope you liked this video. If you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe. If you want to watch more videos like this, you should go watch my shorts or hit the notification bell so you'll know when another video coming out.